Tiwi Island traditional owners have taken their fight against a controversial gas project to Parliament House in Canberra. The group says gas company Santos hasn't properly consulted with community leaders over the project, which they say will be harmful to both their home and culture. Traditional owners are looking to leave Parliament House tomorrow with a commitment from the government to put a permanent stop to the $5 billion project ahead of the federal court ruling expected next week.
What we need now is for people to stop saying that they hear us and to just act on it and do something about it, because we're about to experience one of the greatest climate and environmental disasters if this Barossa project goes ahead.
And that's all from the news.
It feels like the Tiwi communities are really unprepared for a major oil spill if anything goes wrong. Normally you would have oil spill clean-up equipment, like big sea containers full of equipment on location ready to go. If something goes wrong, you have to react really fast. The quicker you can get a boom around an oil spill and clean it up, the less it spreads and the less damage it does. And it feels like right now Santos have not done any of that preparatory work, and they're just charging ahead without coming onto the Tiwis and training people and equipping people to deal with this impact. And oil spills happen all the time. It's not unusual. All around Australia there's oil spills, and it's particularly overseas. Santos had a big oil spill literally 2 weeks ago in the Pilbara. So the last thing we want is an oil spill near the Tiwi Islands, and no ability to react to it would be a tragic turn of events.
The oil spill?
So this is back in 2009. The Montara West Atlas rig, this one here, it caught fire and blew up, and they lost control of the well, and it pumped crude oil into the Timor Sea for 4.5 months, and the oil leaked out and went all the way over to Timor in Indonesia, did a lot of damage, destroyed the seaweed farming over there, and all the fishermen couldn't catch fish anymore. This is the problem with Barossa, is that they have an oil spill plan, but all the equipment is in Darwin Harbour. When the oil spill does spread out, the only thing they do about it is they spray it with a detergent, and it makes all the oil stick together into lumps, and it sinks down the bottom and it sits on the seafloor, where it's still really toxic and still does lots of damage. But we can't see it, so it's out of sight, out of mind. It's okay. It must be okay.
Is that what they did here?
Yeah, same thing.
So it's still sitting there?
Yeah, it's still sitting on the bottom of the sea.
I am also a traditional elder that leads ceremony of the population of the Tiwi Islands, Bathurst and Melville together. Is close to 3,000, so we're a nation. And I run the ceremonies on the islands. I'm one of the elders that run the ceremonies, and these ceremonies include the turtle dreaming dance, the song lines to go with it. That the politicians down here in Canberra, we would like them to not only to acknowledge but understand, respect who we are as traditional owners of that land. I'm from the Munupi group, one of the 8 clan groups there that has an ownership of that land, Pulangampi, Imulu, all that area. So, and out at sea, you know, we call sea winga in Tiwi. So all the winga right out, it goes right out. And anything that lives in the sea turtle, even the seagulls that fly and land on the one of our islands there, the Seagull Island it's called, where we pick the seagull eggs every once a year. Now we wouldn't want anything bad happening to those animals and the environment as well, because of the fact that we hunt them and we like the environment and the coral reefs where turtles go and feed, and we also catch them mainly on the reefs, the dugong, in the sandbar. Now we wouldn't want any oil spilled on the sandbar or the seabeds, you know, the reefs there, because it is so beautiful. Maybe the Prime Minister, maybe the Indigenous Affairs Minister, Linda Burney, could come one day and visit and appreciate us living in that environment, and maybe come out fishing to look at the beautiful seas that we have and the beaches, the pristine beaches that are on our Tiwi Islands. It would be so good.
The current problem is our laws are really inefficient, and the fact that they recognise native title out to sort of as far as the eye can see, about 5 or 6 kilometres offshore. But this big gas project is operating just beyond that, and it'll have massive impacts, and if anything goes wrong, it all comes onshore. So we need the laws to change so that traditional owners have some right over the deep sea country beyond that little horizon right there. What do you think, Pirawani?
Absolutely. If I can just give a brief example of the connections that we have, spiritual connections, and that one is about on the land, obviously, but it also relates to the sea. I've spoken to some people over the years from Arnhem Land, and they said, even from Katherine, people from Katherine, they've said they have song lines, a dance that goes all the way. That's how many kilometers is that? 500-600 kilometers? You know, from Arnhem Land to Katherine?
Yeah.
So those song lines, they go all the way there. And it's absolutely exact thing. Our spirituality goes right out to the sea. Even as far as Torres Strait, an old man, when I went to Thursday Island, said, look, he told me, he said, come here, young fella, this is about 15 years ago. He said, you know that the Morning Star come from there, your mob way, Tiwi Island. It come all the way there, and it comes here to Thursday Island. So we have a universal connection, but getting back to the sea, there's no physical boundary, a line that you can draw. It may be the parliamentarians, and it may be other West people in the West may not comprehend with that, but in reality, our boundary is spirituality. But it goes back to the Dreamtime stories. It's all connected with us, everything. And it's absolutely important. This is where we need the parliamentarians, while we're here in Canberra, to not only understand that, but respect that, and acknowledge our strong connection. We may be a small group of people on the Tiwi Islands, but we have a bigger picture. We are big in relation to our dreaming. It's a big thing. It's huge.
We need the Environment Minister to step up here and really have a much closer look at the Barossa project, and do due diligence, which is actually examine massive climate impacts that will have a huge risk of polluting one of the most pristine bits of sea country in Australia, and polluting the beautiful beaches of the Tiwi Islands, where so much of our endangered marine animals live. There's a lot at stake.
Tiwi Island traditional owners have taken their fight against the controversial Barossa gas project to the capital, calling on the Albanese government to put a stop to drilling before a federal court ruling on whether community leaders were properly consulted is handed down next week.
From the tropics to the legislator's front door, a group of traditional owners and advocates joining to deliver their message.
We want the politicians to take a genuine interest and action in trying to stop, in stopping the drilling.
Arguing oil and gas company Santos hasn't properly consulted with some Munupi community leaders over its offshore gas project. The company wants to drill for gas in the Timor Sea, near the twin Tiwi Islands just north of Darwin.
Our cultural heritage does not stop at a boundary that was placed there by a government that has no respect for our cultural connections.
The Tiwi sits next to one of the largest marine parks in Australia. The group is now calling for a review into the North Australia Marine Parks Management Plan to erase a clause that allows oil and gas infrastructure to be laid through marine parks. They also want the Albanese government to send someone from the federal regulatory body to inspect the drilling operation and to recognise traditional owners as relevant parties on resources projects.
Traditional owners are not even deemed as relevant people. They don't consult with them for resources projects. That is the first thing that we can do.
The group held talks with several members of Parliament over the past 2 days, including the Office of the Prime Minister.
What we need now is for people to stop saying that they hear us and to just act on it and do something about it.
Santos has confirmed with SBS that current drilling activities on the Barossa project are continuing in accordance with the undertaking with the court.
But that drilling is restricted and Santos is not allowed to access the gas reserves. The question of whether the company properly consulted on the project is now a matter being considered by the federal court. Santos withdrew 2 of the 3 applications for approval, but intends to resubmit them.
The government has been approached for comment and the ruling is expected to be handed down next week. Emma Kellaway, SBS World News.
We are the cultural giants. We're the original people from this land, and we need to be taken seriously. To know this is not just a trend that's going to fizzle out in a few months after this court case. We're going to keep going. So how are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling pupuni. It's been a blessing to come down here to talk to all the people that we've spoken to, managed to get a hold of in such a quick time. 2 days. Didn't give us much time, but I think we did really great. Don't you agree?
We showed our banner to everyone in Parliament and had it in front of the TV cameras, and it was a hit. Everyone wanted to talk to us after they saw the banner.
And we thank the Munupi ladies for doing this wonderful work.
A team effort.
Oh, absolutely.
And Pirawani and I were saying that we're building our new footy team.
Yep.
Stop Barossa gas footy team.
Yeah, and we're going to win the game.
And we're getting the ministers on board, that they're going to play as well. We're just the coaches, you know.
We're just the coaches.
Yeah.